Well, that's half the battle.
And we're sober. So that's the other.
Give me a Key West address. Give me a Key West address.
Live.
We're live.
We're live. We're back. We're show number 10.
Show number 10.
Welcome to Key West, where the word GoPro. Sunset with Culver.
And Watson.
And here we are.
And here we are. And you know, we always come up with this banter thing.
I can't figure out what happened today.
I know. And we always come up with this banner that we're supposed to do before the show starts.
Right.
And I just couldn't think of anything.
I don't know. Something triggered the swatters today.
Yeah, I know. So what? Okay.
So Mark and I were talking about insects and animals in strange places.
Absolutely, because you know what?
And I don't mean like that way.
No,
it's still light out,
no
so we can't really.
We'll get to bestiality another week.
Another week.
We're talking.
We're really running low.
Yeah,
I know a couple people.
Know, seriously, when the guest list runs that thin, we have backup.
We have such a special guest tonight. I cannot wait.
I can't either.
The Key West icon, Wil Soto.
Wil Soto is in the house.
He's in the house.
Yay, literally, he's in the
house. And with his beautiful wife, Amy Soto.
Yes.
And if you guys don't know, she's a baker extraordinaire.
We've already decided she's going to make me homemade bread. Did
you order or something?
I did. Right. I think I placed the order. But anyway, here's the thing. When we started this is going to end up being a bad idea. Yeah. No, but this sounded so good on paper. But when we started this, it's like, okay, we're not going to talk about
any politics. That's it. That's what we've decided.
We decided to do that. So instead of doing that, in lieu of what happened last evening, and for those of you who don't know, turn on a television. But we decided that we would take that and we would go with it about animals in weird places.
Yes.
And so I have a story, a Key West story of an animal in a weird place.
I have an African story.
Okay. The Key West story is, picture it. It was Fantasy Fest week. It was 2018. It was a Wednesday. I remember it very distinctly. I'd gone down to 801 to set up for a swinger party. That's not the story. But I had set up for that because it should be, because there were some strange animal encounters there too.
Okay, no.
But I was supposed to cocktail that, and my parents were so proud. But I was cocktailing that night. So I went down and I set that up, and I'm on my way back. And I was living with Susan Kent. I hope you're watching, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. I was living on Windsor Lane at the time. I was like a block away from Windsor on Olivia. My phone rings and it's Susan. And she said, I just got a call that Brandy is out of the house. Now I'll back it up real quick. Brandy is just adorable pit bull who is scared of her own shadow and never wanted to leave the house, ever. Never wanted to leave the house. She was perfectly content to stay there. So I thought that just sounded odd to begin with. So I have my club sandwich that I was going to wolf down. Okay. And I go in, I got it from Jack Flat's, and I go in and I'm sitting down and I open and I call for Brandy, and she's not in the house, which is weird. So I walk to my bedroom and I drop my club sandwich, and on my way out, I feel this big, huge swoop. There was a hawk in my house. How the hawk got in my house, I have no idea, but I do know.
A country song.
Yeah, there's a hawk in my house and a song in my heart. But there was a hawk in the house, and it did not like me being in the house. And I thought, well, if anything is going to make Brandy leave the fucking house, it's going to be this hawk, because it wasn't happy that I was there. So I go outside. I'm on my cell phone. I'm trying to track down this dog. This lady's got the dog. She's headed to the pound. I'm like, could you turn around? Because I need the dog back here. And then there's this neighbor, Matt. Yes. I mean, it's like I'm out there. Susan's calling, panic. And she's like, what about Brandy? What about Brandy? I'm like, Susan, you don't understand. There's a hawk in our house. There's a hawk in the house. It won't let me in the house. I'm outside. Brandy shows up. I think Magellan discovered whatever he did longer than it took this woman to get the dog back from the pound. And she shows up. I throw her in a part of the yard she's never been in before. So she's freaking out. I have to call the Key West Wildlife Center,
Sure.
which, by the way, they do an amazing job.
Yeah, they do.
They do an amazing job. Everybody I know that lives
Go
in Key
see
West.
Jenna. She's
Yes.
great.
Everybody find out what that phone number is and keep it in your cell phone because you never know when you're going to need it.
Down.
I should have written
Where
it
are
down.
you
Well, it's in my cell phone, but I'm
Well,
not.
you're not prepared.
See, told you, bad idea. But anyway, so I call the Wildlife Center, and this guy shows up, and he's like in this hazmat suit. He's ready to play. He's like got the net. He's got like every kind of protection. I'm wearing
It's a chicken
t-shirt.
hawk.
Yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts and getting ready to go in with a mop and like a, the head of a garbage can lid. And he goes in and he's in there for 15 minutes. And he goes, well, luckily, I was able to get it out uninjured. I said, if you had showed up 10 minutes later, I don't think that would have been the story you'd have gone back to the Wildlife Conservatory with. Because I had to go to work and I still haven't eaten my club sandwich. So that's my weird encounter.
Well, mine was, and I was traveling with one of my colleagues, Aaron, and we were invited by the Maasai in Tanzania to do the crossing, meaning they take their cows and goats and bring them from one and they bring them to another, which is very interesting. So it's two elders. We're traveling with two elders and 3 warriors that are becoming elders.
Mm-hmm.
And we're walking 170 miles on foot, no vehicle. So, and I don't know if you know how tall the Maasai are. They wear their shukas and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm
their
just saying,
strides
100
are like 170 miles. So we're doing like 25 miles a day, and they were being nice to us, okay? Because they felt bad, the white girls.
And I complain when I have to go south of Angela. So this is like you walked 170 miles, and I'm like, I don't want to go down to Carolyn. Yeah, it's so far.
So we're out there, we're walking, and the problem is there's no service stations or anything. So like when a girl's got to pee, right?
Yeah.
And you hold on to it, you do the dance, and you're walking through sand.
Yeah.
And there's all the warriors and stuff, and they're always sending somebody ahead because there's a Maasai, rural Maasai, that have never seen a white person before, and the kids would come out and scream, "Ghost, ghost, ghost!" And I always felt so bad. I was like, poor children. Are just
It's like, you don't even know me yet.
You don't even know
afraid of me.
So we're walking through, and you're trying to stay hydrated, and I, of course, have to pee. Well, now we're in a savanna, so there's no greenery or there's no bushes, and I finally find 2 bushes, kind of like this.
Like that?
Like that.
Okay.
And I decided I cannot hold it any longer, because that was like the big joke. So I go down, and I always fall back, and one of the Maasai warriors would always just kind of keep an eye on me. And I'm peeing, I'm like, oh, thank you. And he comes running up to me. I go, for God's sakes, haven't you watched me pee enough? I mean, I am just through. And he goes, shh. I go, don't shush me, I'm peeing.
I'm peeing, you're watching, and
So
I'm starting to like it.
I'm like, oh my God. So he says, no, Mama, stand up slowly. I'm like, yeah, crap. So I stand up, I pull my pants up, and he goes, stand, and he's right here. I'm right here. I said, there's a lion behind me, isn't there? And he says, yes. Indio. I'm like, oh, crap. Now, when I get a little nervous, I tend to talk a lot.
Oh, no.
Okay? So I'm talking to Paolo, and he says, be quiet, be quiet. I said,
You're a wreck all the time.
I said, let me tell you something. My obituary is not reading that I got mauled by a lion while I was peeing out in the Rift Valley. So fix this right away.
This is not how the story is.
What is wrong with you? And he goes, shh, shh, shh. And so all of a sudden, the other warriors came down, and they did a half crescent, and they came towards the lion, and the lion picked up and left. I was like, oh, thanks, guys. Where's your tip jar?
I'm thinking, though, I would probably, even if I didn't have to pee, the whole idea that a wild lion was standing behind me, I would have peed. Even if that wasn't my original plan.
Well, I got to lecture. You cannot talk or speak while, a lion's around you.
I promise if a lion ever comes on, then I will be dead silent. I will have nothing to say.
The other one I have a quick one for you about a lion. So we're out in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and Aaron's next to me, and Aaron, we kind of had rules, and I'm a light sleeper, so she would take an Ambien and knock herself out and put in earplugs. So I'm sleeping one night. It's a 2-man tent, and all of a sudden something rubs up against the tent. And I was like, this can't be good. So I don't move, and it's lying, and we're in his territory.
Obviously.
And he keeps rubbing. So finally, I roll over onto Erin, and Erin looks straight at me. She's like, if I wanted you, I would have had you months ago. I was like, we have a situation here, okay?
Let's talk about sex another time.
So the lion sprayed us.
Oh, man.
We smelled so bad.
I can only
The Africans that we were traveling with are like, stand over there. And we were 3 days from a shower or washing your clothes and sprayed all of our clothes. Oh, hysterical.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Never had a greater shower in my entire life.
I was going to say, that beats the hell out of the 2 mating iguanas that wouldn't let me out of my house for about 30 minutes, and I had to call in late to where I was going. Because when they're mating and they fall on your doorstep,
There's nothing you can do.
they turn orange, and that's all she wrote.
Oh.
And you just got to wait till it's over.
That's why you need a crossbow.
That's why you do. Indeed.
Okie dokie, we are going to go to Michelle,
We are going to go to Michelle.
and who's our roving reporter in Chicago.
Yep.
And well, you talk to Michelle, and Michelle talks to us. There's also a fantastic video of our great guest, Wil Soto, who does a tightrope walk
I've seen it.
in Truman Annex.
I think there's probably a lot of people out there that are watching from elsewhere who have probably seen it as well. And we've got him here with us
We
today.
got him here. Hey.
Hey.
So enjoy, Michelle. Thanks, Michelle. Off to you.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle Marie from Key West, where the weird go. How you doing? I'm live from the Chicago studio, and the neatest thing is I found out that Wil Soto was originally born in Chicago, in actually Sheffield Street, which is over in Lincoln Park, which is somewhere I live. So gosh, what a small world. Key West is such a small world. Anyway, thank you for joining in. We're so happy you're here. Please share. Please check out YouTube, subscribe below, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, check us out on the website. And just to let you know, Key West with the Weird GoPro supports our Sister Season Fund, and we have a cool little t-shirt for your face, and all the proceeds from this mask, which is a $10 mask, goes directly to the Sister Season Fund. So now we're going to bring up a little video of Wil Soto. It's from, I think, 1988, when he is walking 4 stories high on a tightrope. Oh gosh, and you're gonna love this story, because if you don't know who Wil is, he is an icon in Key West. He's one of the original Mallory Square people, and he really kind of helped create it. And he juggles fire. He's a comedian. He does a little bit of everything. So enjoy. I'm gonna switch you over to a cool little video about Wil. Enjoy. He's walking 4 stories without a net. Oh my goodness.
Will.
We're live.
We're back.
All
Key West
right.
with the Weird GoPro Sunset with Culver.
And Watson.
And our very icon.
Oh, wait.
legend- Oh, here we go.
High
High fly.
It's the new way of howdy do.
That's right. So I want to introduce you for those that don't know. This is the icon and legend, Wil Soto.
Yay.
He's been here for 44 years. He really people should bow when
I
he
think
comes down
so.
the street
I think so.
because he made Mallory Square with all the buskers, and we have a ton of questions for you.
Tons.
Tons, and you taught us a new word today.
Funambulist.
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 I like.
Funambulist.
Okay, which is a Latin word for funus, means rope
In French.
in French.
In French.
Yes, and then ambular means to walk.
Yes, in Latin.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
The French say funambule for the art of rope walking. And the Spanish say desperado.
Why don't you come to your senses? What got you in that? What
The
got
Conch
you?
call it Bubba.
Yeah. The Portuguese go sicko.
What got you into that? I mean,
Well, the truth is I went over when I first came here, 40s, whenever.
44 years. Just so you know.
Thank you.
not that we're counting.
No.
I was already a juggler, and as a hobby, and as I was transitioning, can't go in there.
That's a
Well,
very polite. I'm going to use
I don't
that.
know. That's
You know,
just-
I
Let's
was
say that's
transitioning.
I was transitioning.
Yeah.
to become from I was working as a sculptor at that time when I first came here, and I switched to performing here. I already did juggling as a hobby, and I went over to visit Bounce. Bounce.
Oh, I
Bounce,
love him.
Bounce
Yes,
La La.
yes.
And Bounce had a tightrope set up about a tight wire about 3 feet off the ground in his backyard. And my background's in gymnastics, so I thought, I wonder, you know.
Yeah.
And I jumped up on it, and from the first time I was up on there, I knew it. I went, holy crapola. This is my spot in the world.
Oh my
you know?
God.
Yeah. So that's how I got started. Purely
Wow.
by accident one day.
Wow. And that's just amazing
What-
to me because it blows my mind. I would never like
Well,
to
not
think,
just
go,
that,
I'm
but
going to see if I can do that.
you went from that day, in Bounce's backyard to doing everything all over Europe, the Caribbean, North
Well,
America.
I mean, I just didn't go right out and do it.
It had to get a little higher than 3 feet,
Yeah.
right?
No, I got a rope, and I went to Bayview Park.
Okay.
And it just set it up at that same height, and I kept trying it till it's kind of like juggling. You keep doing it till you quit falling or dropping,
Right.
just over and over and over. And then pretty soon, once you get comfortable on it, then you start raising it a little bit, and the sky's the limit. I love performing to a crowd, to people,
Yeah.
because the exchange of energy between the performer and the crowd is something pretty special,
Yeah.
magical. But when I do high walks, when I go anything above 3 stories, there's no more crowd.
I don't even want to be
there could be
open
2,000
be on a
people there.
balcony in 3
I
Once you
still
get-
even rent
Once
a
you go
rope.
up higher than you know you can safely fall.
Right.
Because I never use nets or
I'm not
mats.
getting fresh, but
Okay.
I don't want to swat you.
You get me? Something
Yeah.
swap me.
Yeah.
Swap me, baby.
What is that?
Oh,
I don't
there
know.
we
What is it?
I don't know.
Fly?
Wasn't a fly. No flies were harmed in
No
this production.
Anyway, when you get up high, it's not about the crowd anymore. It's between you and the Lord. You know?
Right.
You understand that?
Very peaceful.
Yeah.
Very peaceful.
What did I tell you? The only thing that I've said this, and I've said it many times, the only difference between an atheist and a believer is a plunging elevator. I have said that
I know.
every single solitary time, and it's the God's honest truth.
I'm an emotional religious
Yes, and
person.
it's like, no, I can't even imagine. I mean, I just can't. to go from like 3 feet to 3 stories. That's
That's
amazing
quite
to me.
a.
Well, you know, people have to believe in you along the way. 'Cause,
Well, yeah.
you know, the first guys that believe
Or
in
they're
you
making
really,
odds against you. I don't know.
right.
Bookmakers.
That's harder than learning to walk it is learning how to talk people into letting you do it on their property or
Sure.
Oh, I'm
their
sure.
watch, you know.
Because there's no liability.
A lot of people, I don't think you guys even knew this, but in the second and third Fantasy Fest,
Okay.
I did a walk across Duval Street.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
No,
and
I didn't know
put first I went to the Fantasy Fest committee, and I said, you know, how about if I do a wire walk between the roofs here, between Sloppy Joe's and Rick's? Because I went and talked to the bar owners, and they were like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
Bring
I
it.
went talked to Fantasy Fest, and they said, yeah, I don't think so. I think the city would have to have the final say on that. So I went to the city, and the city said, nah, you better ask Fantasy Fest. You know? And really, what it was is nobody really wanted to be responsible.
That's
for
something
saying it's
happened.
okay.
Sure.
So I went to a organizational meeting for Fantasy Fest, and they asked for volunteers to put up banners. That's right. So I got together with
Very
Tony
clever.
Gregory.
Very.
Oh,
Tony
hi,
Gregory.
Tony. I hope he's watching.
And he painted me a big banner. I guess it must have been about tall, but it went all the way across the street on my cable, on my wire, you know. And I just went up there and did the rigging myself and got it all nice and tight, and put all my stuff on the roof that I needed, my balance pole and everything. And Fantasy Fest night, I popped up in there with my white silk jumpsuit.
Awesome.
Yeah, and walked out into the middle, and it was like, holy crapola again, you know.
Jeez.
The sea sort of parted underneath me,
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
and then there was some police officers there, and they were like, wow, you know, nobody said anything derogatory to me or like, you're under arrest. You know,
Yeah.
so,
Well, that would be derogatory.
yeah, what it was is everybody was happy. They loved it, but they just didn't want to be the one that said it was okay to do it.
Sure.
So the next year, I went through all the proper channels, and they said, cool, go for it. So,
awesome.
yeah, sort of.
What could go
The
wrong?
second year, they said it was okay to do it. And I got out in the middle, and somebody threw something right past me.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
dirtbags.
And then I had to go to the bathroom really bad. But you don't know. No, you know what happened is that this wonderful crowd of over inebriated revelers were all converged. They all came underneath me while I was on the wire.
Right?
And you know, I'm carrying a 25-pound pole. If I would have dropped, it would have brained them, you know. And so I had to, and then there were so many people on the far balcony that I could see that there was no way I was going to be able to get off the wire on my. I walked almost all the way there, and then I had to walk backward all the way back to the Sloppy
Get
Joe's.
the hell out of here.
Yeah. And
Jeez,
so here I am. I'm still here. And
What is your? I gotta. Where does your mind? I always say, like, when I've done some theater, and when I'm on stage, my mind just kind of goes into a different place.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
And I would have to think that would be the
It's
same.
an alternate.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like.
And once again, it's a little different when you're high.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. When you're up at altitude, it's a much different mindset
Sure.
than performing.
Well, because you're
6 or 8
feeding
feet
out
off
the
the ground.
crowd. I
Right.
mean, that's one
Yeah,
of the
you're
things
working with a
Right.
crowd on the ground level.
Right.
You know, the first time I saw you, I was just amazed.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And then, you know, people would come into town and visit, and I'd bring them down to see you. And it was always so energetic
Yeah.
and positive.
Must have been there on a good night.
we were there early.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just joking.
Well,
But
no, you go ahead.
I want to know how. Okay, so you decided on Mallory Square. You're one of the co-founders of the whole thing, of the Buskers, the Uniting of the Buskers, or at least Sunset at Mallory. Which, if we didn't have Sunset at Mallory, we wouldn't be a destination that we are. So-
I think so as well. I mean, that's
Well,
Well, you know, just so that I know a lot of people weren't around at the beginning,
Right.
but it was never, ever a conscious plan. It was one of the last great hippie parties. And it wasn't just hippies. It was fishermen and lawyers and, you know, and dropouts and whatever, you know. It was everybody, artists, and most people were a combination of all of them, you know.
Sure.
And it was just a bunch of, it was like in the old towns and cities and in older countries, they have a center of town, a centrum. And like if you go into any town in Europe, walk out in the middle of the square and throw your juggling stuff down, they know not only what you're doing, but they know what their part of it is.
Sure.
Right? And so America kind of suffered a little bit because of traffic. In a sad irony, America got developed about the same time the automobile got developed.
Right.
So we laid out all our cities and grids and took away the town square, the heart of the community.
Right.
So Mallory Square was at Key West heart, where everybody went to gather, no matter who you were. Everybody brought something to drink and sit at the edge of the water, you know, adult beverage, you know, smoking adult herbs or whatever. And it was bordered on a sacrament, you know.
Wow.
Everybody was like mellow, and except for a few people. Me. No. But it never was a conscious thing. It just sort of developed, you know. That's where it was born.
But okay, so I mean, it was born, and a lot of the same people have been there for many, many years, if not decades. Do you want to talk about some of the characters that have been down there, or the characters you worked with?
Well, a lot of the older characters are gone, but my second book that I'm working on right now is about all those old characters. It was the characters that developed a lot of the things in Key West. It's about, you know, Love 22 and Cookie Lady and and the Iguana Man and Conch Salad Frank and the people that
I love it, Conch Salad Frank.
they were what a crew, and there's a lot of them, and there were so many unusual and interesting and wonderful characters of all kinds. Jimmy Buffett sat on the 5-gallon bucket next to me and wrote Tin Cup Chalice, you know, at the end of the 70s. Guy Laliberte, the guy that started Cirque du Soleil, was a street performer that used to come ride his motorcycle down from Montreal and sleep on my couch sometimes.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you're our Key West version of Cirque du Soleil. You are Cirque du Soleil here.
Well, we're like more like Cirque du So What. You know, we try though. We try.
Cirque, we might like you.
Well, I know that just since, I mean, I've been here, it'll be 23 years next year, but I have seen it develop in a way down there now that I didn't realize until, you know, I would do theater at the waterfront or whatever, and we would always end up, you know, going out there at sunset or whatever. And I didn't realize that now that there's like a lottery that people have to, like, don't they have to pull a spot?
Yeah, well, during the season, you know, the square itself is not very big.
No.
I mean, by standards compared to other venues around the country. So during the season, crowds get bigger.
Yeah.
The performers multiply too.
Yeah.
So in order for everybody to get a spot, we not only have a lottery, but you have to work with the people around you so that you can alternate and get some sort of a flow going. Otherwise, it's just a cluster of thing.
Right.
Almost said it.
I know. You can say it.
You can say it.
You can say
In fact, what's your favorite curse word?
My friend, that's funny. Mark, yeah. You know, my favorite curse words aren't really curse words. I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they're like, you know, Love 22, you know?
Yeah, of course.
When he'd look at people and go, bonehead! That was like better than any curse word I ever heard, you know?
Well, actually, you got that in common. What was it, Terry, Terry Johnson, the mayor, when she was on her show?
Yes.
She said, as you mature, so do your curse words.
Yes.
She goes, I'm more of a shit person now, where I never was before. And I'm like, I'm still stuck on fuck, I gotta say.
Fucking.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's kind of what. That's so funny.
Now, what year did you guys turn it into a lottery? Because I remember this. I was here for this.
Okay. Well, we actually incorporated in 1984.
Okay.
Okay.
We changed from, we had a really loose organization, kind of presided over by Sister, who was she was our first queen.
Right.
And it was called Save Our Sunset, SOS. And that kind of morphed into the Cultural Preservation Society, which manages the pier right now. And in those old days, I really wish we had some video of this, but we'd have meetings. We were sort of being threatened with being closed down for a while before we organized. And we'd have these organizational meetings in the cistern of Maison de Pepe. Next door, it's that outdoor with the big walls.
Yeah.
That used to be a big cistern for the ships coming in, and everybody would sit on the wall all the way around, and one person, whoever had the floor, got down in the middle, and everybody was amazingly let them talk, and we'd have a little bit of a screaming match afterward.
Sure.
But it was great. It was like old world, very old world. Almost pirate-ish.
I would imagine with all the characters to try and get to a consensus would be something that is difficult.
Yeah.
I would also think that there's kind of like you all work together, but I kind of would think that there's kind of a hierarchy that came along with it.
There's some people that are just more naturally active than others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, some people
Which
were
is
like
a polite way.
Yeah.
Not that I
use that.
Not that I know any of them.
That's lesson number 3.
God, please.
But in the
The world
beginning,
according to Wil Soto.
God.
in the beginning, we didn't call people performers, or we didn't
Buskers,
distinguish them as a performer or an artist or whatever, because we had, like, our first president was a diving instructor or dive master. Our second president worked at the post office. So we had a lot of community people that we called everybody sunsetters.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They hung out there for the same reason we all hung out there. And that was the core group that really got it all rolling. They were, I like to refer to the group as a organization of anarchists.
Controlled chaos.
That's right, exactly. It's never been easy, but it has been fun and interesting.
Most things are.
Do you have associate memberships?
I'm sorry.
Do you have
Associate membership?
Associate membership.
I'll dub you guys tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
Christen you.
Fantastic.
So now you're also the founder and director of the Busker Fest.
Well, I have to finally admit it.
Doesn't that
we did.
suck?
Yeah. No, we had 4 Busker Fests, and I loved them. People loved them. I'm often asked why I didn't continue them. And the simple answer to that is that it's like a job.
Yeah.
I know.
For 6 months, I was like a maniac with a briefcase, running around. And
that's no fun.
in those days, it was, raising $50,000, $70,000 budget for a festival in Key West was like $250 at a time here. $100 for there.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible undertaking. That was at least as draining as trying to manage 50 performers.
You can't even get 5 people to decide.
So finally, after the 4th one, I said, I want my life back. I'm a beach ball.
I want to go back to being a hippie. What happened?
I swear to God. It's always say it's the road to hell and good intentions, but I swear it's like people don't know what it takes to do.
Yeah.
They want to go, oh, why isn't that happening again? It's like, well, if you were involved, you know.
Right, but especially Mallory Square is so well known. It's one of the bucket list items in a lot of people's lives,
and it sells itself because everybody who comes down here knows that at least one night they have to go. I mean, there's not a person that lands on this rock that at least one night that they're not down there.
That's really a respect to you and the other buskers out there.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
No.
Well, I wrote about some of those adventures in my book, and I just want to tell all the people that know that I just wrote a book not to be afraid. I can't
Please don't be
right.
scared.
I can't remember anybody's real name anyway.
Mark and I were talking earlier. I said, somebody says, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while." I'm thinking, I make out with you, fire you, or do you owe me money?
Right.
I don't know.
You don't come across as my type, but how long has it been since I've seen you?
Yeah.
It's like
Give me
I
a
was
point of
checklist.
context.
Okay, didn't go to college with you.
Yeah.
So it's like you go through that.
But
list.
I think one of the greatest things is it's so consistent down there, and everybody gets excited.
Yeah.
So I know when I was working the restaurant, people would be like, "Oh, we're going to they'd come by for a drink. We're going to Mallory Square, see our favorite performers, and then we're coming back for dinner."
Yeah.
It's thousands
To this
and
day,
thousands of people.
I just recently started working in a hotel, and I'm bartending in a hotel, and every guest that's on their way out, they're like, "No, we got to get down to Sunset because it's a must do."
It's very religious for a lot of people, and we, as far as Key West is concerned, and myself and I know Mark, we're indebted to you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it really became a destination because of it. We're not known for our beaches.
No.
There's a lot of things we're not known for. There's a lot of great things that we are known for, but Mallory Square is definitely number one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's got it's a double-edged sword because it's heartening to see so many people come down there, but it's kind of hard to skinny dip anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole world's watching us now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's also too, and I mean, I think it's gotten like people are like sparkly ball syndrome now. So it's kind of like they come down like, oh, that's gonna, you know what I mean? It's like I think that way anyway. When they come to town, they're so easily like, okay, we've done this one, and it's like that, and it's like hard to hold somebody's attention. I would think.
You know what? That's one of the reasons why I really love summertime, and
I'm with you.
People
are
taking their time.
Yeah.
They're not in a hurry.
No.
They're not getting bombarded with
Yeah.
So
I love the summertime here.
Summertime, I like it a lot.
We used to say,
bad hair days, but great.
we used to say, I can't wait for summer to get here so we can start making money. And it used to not be that way.
And it's pleasurable.
Yeah.
Yes.
People, they're not as hurried, not as harassed they're not being pitched quite so much.
Yeah.
And they take their time,
And they have a conversation. I mean, I say, when you're doing your performance, I watch the other people around and they're just so in awe and they just feel so special. And you really make them feel like it's a one-on-one thing, like you're doing it specifically for this family or for this couple.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, but
That's what entertaining is about. Yeah.
Well, some people don't.
Every occasionally I do street performance workshops, and I really try to express that idea to the younger people coming up, that your tricks, your juggling, or whatever it is you're doing are just visual hooks. What makes your show is what happens between you and them.
Right.
And you in building those little arcs of communication and emotion and et cetera. So I'm sorry to anybody I ever hurt. I didn't mean it.
And we are too.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
We're going to do the George Murphy moment right now if you want to get your juggling together for a sec.
Oh, can I do a little juggling?
Yeah.
Come on.
Speaking of double-edged swords.
Now, I do have my knives here.
Okay.
Now I gotta ask. I really gotta ask. I see people do stuff like that. They juggle the knives and all that stuff. How many times have you cut yourself learning to do that, or what's the progression?
Well, let me say this. I walk the high wire. I juggle fire and knives. What do you think?
I know.
I know the people in the emergency room all by that person.
Do they send you Christmas cards? We haven't seen it in a while. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Are you retired? Because you haven't seen you.
What happened?
God bless him. And they know Amy too, because she usually beats me there. I'm coming in hot, honey.
It's like, we don't have any more stories. You didn't show up with your hair on fire.
She tells me, honey, you're going to be 74 soon. You don't bounce so good anymore. And it's true.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
now this is, you guys are, if you're going to do it, I'm going to have to do
Right
it right
here?
there.
Oh, yeah.
You guys most likely,
Oh, I'm
You
out.
want to move?
if you want to make it to
Knives
the
are
end
being
of the
flung.
show,
I'm going to move.
This is such a treat.
It's absolutely.
I'm going to have to pull my mask down
Okay.
and my jeans. This is an old Key
Well,
West.
sunset, so we're all right.
Okay. Oh, I'm so happy. Can I make a plug for how happy I am about medical marijuana?
Yes,
You know, God
absolutely.
bless you. You know, it's about time. I didn't think I would see it in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But you made me think about the old days, and you know, and because it was a party in Mallard Square, and one day we were late after the sun went down. It was getting kind of dark, and we were sharing some herbal supplements, and I took a hit, and I turned like this to give it to the next guy, and it was a cop in full uniform. It was like the late
God, I
70s.
hate when that happens.
And I said,
It was, we were having such a ball until.
excuse me. I said, I don't want to compromise you. And he looked at me and it was like, this is what the old days was more like. He said, can you guys at least go in the alley? You know? He didn't get all like, oh, up against the wall. Hands up your butt. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to have to pull my mask down.
That's all right.
You go right ahead. You're holding knives. You can do whatever
yeah,
you
you
want.
can.
Okay, now it's back. You might want to move that chair
Yeah.
back
Oh,
to
sure.
the
Yeah,
cat
sure.
too.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Just saying, I have marginal luck.
I know. How far down are we? No, I'm just kidding.
George always liked this one because he was a galloping gourmet, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
This is for George Murphy.
I'm going to do a trick with 2 knives and an apple. Now, this apple is even more dangerous because it only has 1 hole going in. I learned that from my grandpa. It's okay if there's 2 holes. You can eat it. Here we go. God bless you, George. I love you. I usually do a big high thing at the end here, but I probably don't want to have to come back and repair your condo tomorrow.
That's
So I'll just do what I can do.
She's
right
going to
here.
remodel anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
remodeling.
Ready? She is.
1972 might come around again. Yeah.
Really? I don't think I ever did this with a button-down shirt on and underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow, that's a special day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
My day's not that special over here.
Yeah. Pardon me.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
That's just awesome. Whoa!
That is amazing.
Oh, that was awesome.
Wait,
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
My neighbors will love that. Yeah.
Yes, I used to do that on the high wire
Oh, my God.
before I lost my bounds. No, I still do occasionally a few tricks. Totally depends how medicated I am.
There you go. It happens with all of us.
All of us. All of us.
Well, we want to thank you for coming here, and you're coming back anytime you want.
Absolutely.
Amy, great to see you. We look forward to talking to you about your baking. And this is Will's new book that's out, is Key West Rogue Diaries. You can get it at Key West Island Books and also on Amazon. And I've read half of it. It is
I
fantastic.
can't wait. I just got mine tonight. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and watch again and
do
send
all
this to
that
your
stuff.
friends.
Yes.
Key West, where the word go pro. Good night, Mike. Michelle.
Good night, Mike.
Michael.
Mike, good night to you too.
And Hutch, thank
Give me
you.
a Key West address, a tattooed waitress, and a fish that's bigger than the hole in my net. A good bottle of rum, a fine Cuban cigar. Life will take care of the rest. Give me a Key West address. Give me a Key West address. Give me a Key West address.